We thought that it would be a really nice opportunity to look at the difference in air pollution before, during and after the COVID lockdown. And we decided to use EO Browser, which is a free satellite database basically from the European Space Agency. So we decided to look at Dublin in particular, and we selected the theme of air pollution. And my students then broke up into groups, and some of them looked at SO2, NO2, carbon monoxide, and methane. So some days there's cloudy, no data available, and the students had to then obviously get averages over weeks and months and the seasons, and that's quite laborious. So we went to some other websites, the EPA and the Air Pollution Europe real-time website, and this is where we got the data that we have over here. So what we have are some graphs that show the levels of SO2 are much higher in 2019 than they were in 2020. Similar in NO2, much higher. So this is the number of days that were really high in NO2 compared to 2020. As you can see, it goes back up after lockdown. And then the particulate matter as well. So lots of days where it was really, really high in 19, less days where the levels of particulate matter, 2.5, were high in 2020. So from there, I really wanted to get my students to do something positive and something about the problem. So we made pollution catchers. So we used just simple paper plates, Vaseline, punctured a hole, and hung them up outside our gates. They loved getting messy and spreading it all over the place. So this was where we hung them outside on our gates. And then after a day or two, you can see all the particulate matter that we caught. Now, what I would have loved to have done, but we didn't have time to do, is to look at it under the microscope to try and examine what the particulate matter is, but you can even see the different size range of the sizes. So from there, we decided to look at why these gases that we were measuring the levels of were so important. So we generated some carbon dioxide with vinegar and bicarb, and even though it's an endothermic reaction, when we had our kind of fake light, our sun, and we take the temperature of the two, there's usually about a degree difference. And actually I have a cool picture I might show you at some stage that one of the guys over here with his little infrared camera showed, and there was a 1 degree difference even on his infrared camera. So it was really nice. So the students kind of get the idea then that the carbon dioxide is holding on to that heat energy. So then again, I wanted to look at something positive that they could do. So why do we plant trees, or why do we talk about not cutting down trees and plants? So we repurposed our carbon dioxide monitors in the school, and we had some plants. So this picture over here is when we took it out of the darkness. So the carbon dioxide monitor is red, so that means the carbon dioxide levels are really high. And then we shone the lights on it. We covered the soil to make sure that the organisms in the soil weren't causing the carbon dioxide levels to rise. And we saw it go then to yellow to green, so the levels were dropping as the plant was using it. So the last two things we did, we looked at the solubility of carbon dioxide. So I gave them a cold bottle of fizzy water, room temperature, and then a warm one, so we stood it in some hot water. And we did a taste test, and we counted the number of bubbles. So the students really quickly realised that the warm one tasted quite flat, they said, and they were seeing all the bubbles come out of it really quickly. So they identified that the solubility of carbon dioxide decreased as the temperature went up. So then we talked about the oceans and carbon dioxide coming out of the ocean and adding to the greenhouse effect. And the last thing we did then, I thought we'd make a bit of a fun game. Again, give them something positive that they can do, lifestyle changes they could make. We made a top trumps game. And the top trumps game, would you like to play with me? So I have dark chocolate. What food do you have?
I have bread.
Bread, okay. So the top line there, GHG, is greenhouse gas emissions. So mine is 116 kilograms.
Mine is only 4 kilograms.
Okay, so you would win my car. So yours is much less, much lower. So that's over a year, and it tells you at the top how much you would eat 1 to 2 times a week to generate that greenhouse gas emission. The one underneath is the water usage. So we looked at how different foods produce a different amount of, or use a certain amount of water, litres of water in their production. It just allows them to make those decisions. Well, I'm going to have it now, but I won't choose it later. I'll have less beef. Maybe I won't have so much rice, or maybe I won't waste the rice I cook. I'll measure and I'll only make the amount I need. So that was what we did.